Hello, Kiss Army. Welcome to episode 156 of the Kiss Army Things podcast. My name is Xander.
My name is Daphne.
Thank you, everybody, for being here on episode 156. So today we have a few things to talk about. Of course, the main one being Kiss Landlocked Vegas. It is currently underway right now. We also have an update on the Kennedy Center Awards, and we may or may not have a few things to show. So, as always, thank you guys for being here. It's going to be another great episode on Kiss Army Things. And like I said, today we are filming on Saturday.
Yep.
And Kiss Landlocked Vegas event is happening right now. The event kicked off last night on Friday, and so it's going to be continuing the rest of the weekend. So, yeah, we are only halfway through the event, but we thought, hey, you know what? Since we have a little bit of something, and we've already sat and watched the entire acoustic set, let's make that our Kiss Spotlight. Now, as you can imagine, this has been a very highly anticipated event. Lots of publicity, lots of, speculation and wondering, what's going to happen, who's going to be there. And so, again, it's Saturday, so we know a little bit more than we did a few months ago. And I'm excited to see Kiss back on stage together.
Me too.
Playing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we sat and watched somebody, luckily, thank you, by the way, whoever that was, had filmed the entire set, the acoustic set that Kiss did last night. And I was just smiling the entire time.
Yes, it was great.
I was just so excited to see them together on stage. It was just so special. In 2025.
In 2025, performing and playing. And we knew this wasn't going to be, a big extravagant Kiss show like we were used to. Yeah. This was very much
it's like a Kiss Cruise.
A classic sail-away show from the Kiss Cruise.
Exactly.
But you could tell it wasn't on the Kiss Cruise because there was no wind.
Right, yeah.
On the Kiss Cruise,
they're outside, but not on the water.
They can't keep their hair and the hats on, on the high seas. Lots of wind. But, here it was like you could tell that it was just, a nice day in Vegas. So it looked like everybody had a great time. Again, it was more of a chill event. It did sound like Paul said that they're going to try next year for an actual cruise.
He actually said that twice, so that makes me really think that they are fully planning that.
Yeah.
Because he didn't just casually mention it, he brought it up again a few minutes later.
Initially, I was thinking maybe it was intentional that they decided not to do a cruise. Maybe a cruise had become too much of a hassle.
Right.
And so
I thought maybe they were done with it.
Almost as a way to bridge the idea of the Kiss cruise and have it, they said, we'll just do a Landlocked. But it actually ended up sounding like they tried to get a ship, and it just couldn't work out with...
Didn't work out this year,
It just didn't work out with the scheduling that the company that they're working with had, There wasn't a way to line it up, so they said, well, that's okay, because what's important about the Kiss cruise is the Kiss fans. And so we'll just bring the fans to another location. We'll do Vegas, and we'll just make an event there. So, I think all in all, it's shaping up to be a pretty exciting event. We didn't get to go, obviously. Otherwise, we would be filming in our hotel room right now, or filming somewhere, maybe in the lobby or whatever. But no, either way, even if we're not there, we can still... have a great time and watch the footage. That's what I was looking forward to the most, was getting to, just like I would back in high school, stay up real late, trying to refresh, looking for updates on the Kiss Cruise.
Yep.
And then today I was like, we can watch, a little bit of this song or that song, or we can watch the whole set. And we sat and watched the entire...
It was like an hour. It didn't feel like it, though.
It's about an hour. Hour-long set. Kiss played acoustic. There's going to be another, I think, full electric show happening tonight. If I'm not mistaken. So
Last night for you, if you're watching this on
I was going to say,
Sunday.
that already happened for you guys, so maybe you guys already know what they played. I'm really anxious to see what they played, because this set, admittedly, was basically a Kiss Unplugged
Very much.
2.0.
Yeah.
It was like Kiss Unplugged, maybe cut in half a little bit.
Yeah.
I think most of the songs do come from Kiss Unplugged, and Paul even said right before they opened, hey, look, it's Kiss Unplugged.
Yeah.
And they went right into Coming Home.
Which, and it makes sense to me, because those are the Kiss songs that are tried and true acoustic, that they have practiced acoustic and played acoustic many times.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense to me, especially with Eric coming in later. They, might not have had a lot of time, the four of them, to rehearse new songs. Not that they couldn't have done it, but I get why they played
That's a good point. I'm not sure how much time they actually had, because it seemed like Eric was maybe unsure if he was going to be able to do the event, or maybe there was something preventing him, and then last minute was able to join.
Yeah.
So maybe that did prevent them from actually getting together and trying to do some other stuff. Or maybe they were just putting the focus on whatever D cuts they were going to play for the electric show.
Maybe. That's true.
Because this, again, very much felt like one of their acoustic VIP shows that they would do before the shows. The sound check that we saw in Dayton had a lot of these songs. I'm looking at Plaster Caster was played, and maybe Going Blind, I'm not sure, but a couple of those songs, you know, you can expect to hear them play in an acoustic set. So just real quickly, the set list was Coming Home, See You Tonight, World Without Heroes, Hard Luck Woman, Christine 16, Nothing to Lose, Going Blind, Hide Your Heart, Plaster Caster, Beth, and Love Her All I Can. So, first of all, no Rock and Roll All Night.
Sure.
At all.
I'm not surprised, because I think they'll do that tonight.
Yeah. I can't remember if they played that during the Sail Away shows or not.
That's a good
on
question.
the Kiss Cruise.
Yeah.
But probably the most obvious thing and the most special part was before they even played a song, Paul made sure to give a moment of silence and dedication to Ace Frehley.
Yeah.
And have all the fans, you know, they had these candles. Yeah, I don't know if...
I think they had passed those out.
I don't know. I was going to say, I don't know if fans brought those and like passed them out and said, this is for Ace.
I mean, Paul
and
even said candles up.
Yeah. And the band just saw it. Or if the band or Vibey or whoever, the hotel, intentionally passed out candles or whatever it was. But it was still a really cool...
It was a cool moment.
Somehow coordinated event where like they all had these little plastic candles that lit up in memory of Ace Frehley. And so, everybody chanted Ace. Paul, had his finger to the sky. Everybody was just kind of quiet. You could tell Gene was, very, solemn, and obviously, he loved Ace. He and Ace were, despite all their differences, very close. And so, it was nice to see the four of them plus the entire Kiss Army just for about 30 seconds. Just give memory to Ace. Paul even said, "Thank you, Ace." And everybody was, chanting Ace. So
it was a really good moment.
Yeah, we knew there was going to be a lot of tribute to Ace, but to just before they even started, to have that moment was obviously very special, very, very important, very, very well needed.
Can I mention something else that happened before they started actually playing?
Oh, sure.
This made me so happy, because you guys know I'm a huge Beatles fan. I don't know if you've seen the clip, but Gene and Paul were just, they're just kind of messing around on their guitars before anything. At least I think it was...
It was in the middle it was before a song. I forget what song it was.
So it wasn't before they started playing.
It was very early in the set.
Yeah, it was very early.
I think it was after See You Tonight, because that was a very Beatley song.
Maybe.
And Paul made the reference.
But they started playing a little bit of I'll Be Back from A Hard Day's Night, which is kind of a random deep cut Beatles song.
Yeah.
But they were doing the harmonies on it and everything, and I loved it so much.
That was a very impromptu moment. Paul even said afterwards, back to the regularly scheduled program.
Right.
But of course, we love the moments where they just have fun. And Kiss, especially with the big stage show, became very, paint by numbers choreographed.
Yeah.
You have to do...
everything that's going to happen.
You have to be in this spot at this time and do this. And so... any chance we get to see them kind of break away from that and have some fun is nice. And there was a lot of those moments tonight.
There were.
Even if it was bickering between Gene and Paul.
It's hilarious.
There were lots of times.
Brothers.
There were lots of moments where Gene and Paul were just poking fun at each other. And for instance, I forget what Gina said initially, but Paul said, "Okay, why don't we treat it like it's one of your shows, and we'll just bring everybody on stage to sing?"
Right.
And Gene thinking, that's a really cool experience. How many folks can say they get to go on stage with a rock star and sing? And he goes, "You know what? You should." And Paul goes, "You know what? We're not going to." And it was so funny. There was a few other moments too. I'm trying to think of what they were. Oh, there was the classic, you stole Black Diamond. Well, you stole Christine 16.
Right, yes.
And, they each took the other one's title back in the early days. And
wrote a song out of it,
They were doing their classic, it used to be called Christine 16. Now it's called Christine 60.
Yeah.
They've been doing that for about 10 years. It should be Christine 70 by now.
I was going to say, I know 60, works with the song title, but we're past that point.
Yeah, but I love how, that's just become such a funny joke. Yeah. And it's their way of, trying to, soften the blow, because obviously... the song itself has...
aged poorly.
well, it's aged poorly, but also it's just... the song, it's more than that. The song is... kind of like Nothing to Lose. Nobody... obviously, Gene wrote Nothing to Lose with a certain thing in mind, but when I hear Nothing to Lose, I'm thinking
You're not thinking about that.
Kiss Unplugged, Peter Criss, and Eric Singer together, all the guys playing. It's Kiss's first single. The fact that they're still playing it 50 years... I mean, again, it was played last night in Vegas. The Kiss's first single ever is still being played.
Insane.
That was recorded in a 73, 74 is now being, still being played in 2025. It was really, really cool. So yeah, we got some stuff from the first album. We got Hotter Than Hell. We got Gene's solo album. We got The Elder. We got Rock and Roll Over. We got Love Gun. We got Hot in the Shade. And we got Destroyer and Dress to Kill. So obviously a lot of 70s, but I mean, you can't go wrong with things like The Elder.
Absolutely.
Even though it was A World Without Heroes, which is kind of to be expected.
Yeah.
Still really cool to pull
so
out.
Fun. Yeah.
To pull out. Paul even said, how many people got The Elder? And of course, everybody says, yeah. And he goes, well, maybe you can get somebody else to buy it. And which, it's their little, kind of poking fun at The Elder. But,
always.
So, let's get into this. What were the songs that stood out to you the most? Because obviously they played, because we're always going to be, oh yeah, Kiss, they were great, that sounded great, that's us, we love Kiss. But what were the ones that stood out to you the most?
Yeah.
Because the set was great, but I want to know what your favorites were, your high points.
Hard Luck Woman, I think, was really good because Paul's vocals were
That's mine.
Fantastic.
Well, okay.
He said, I'll get to my absolute favorite here in a moment.
I got 3.
Yeah. But Hard Luck Woman was really good. I thought Paul sounded really good. I know, we know that he's had issues with his voice for the last however many years.
Yeah, being the GOAT for so long, you're still human. So.
And I mean, overall, he sounded really great this entire time. But obviously, there's some songs that just are a lot higher and louder with more power that, even though he sounded great, might be more of a struggle. But Hard Luck Woman was in his sweet spot. You know what I mean? Just a little bit lower, just absolutely beautiful melodies.
Nice, tender
so
song.
Good. Yeah. I loved Hard Luck Woman. My number one favorite was obviously Hide Your Heart. I'm sorry.
For sure.
That was fantastic.
Yes.
He sounded so good on that. And he even at the beginning was like, I need you guys to sing along with me. I need a little help on this one. And he did have the audience sing a couple parts, but he really did not need their help.
I was like, yeah, for real.
He killed it. And it made me happy because I could tell that he knew that he killed it. Yeah. Because there were certain notes that he just hit so perfectly. And at the end, he was like, to the audience, he was like, you guys sound pretty good. And then he was I sound pretty good. And then he said, we sound great. Really good.
Yeah, we sound great.
Yeah, that made me so happy.
Yeah, so obviously Hard Luck Woman was definitely a standout one for me. Paul's been singing that for at least the past 10, 15 years now since Peter obviously isn't in the band, but Paul wrote it, so even though I would like to see Eric Singer take a crack at it, I think it would sound great. It does feel right to have Paul singing it, being he's the one who wrote it, and like you said, he does a fantastic job. Peter's original vocal will always be special, and the way the song was originally recorded, but having Paul Paul sing it is always fantastic. And yeah, his voice was perfectly suited for this. And you mentioned Hide Your Heart, which was another one of mine. That was one of the ones. Hide Your Heart and maybe another one were the only ones that were not on Kiss Unplugged.
Right, yeah.
So Hide Your Heart was the one I think that got the most reaction from the crowd.
I think so too.
Because the crowd was kind of realizing that, okay, this is just kind of like, Kiss Unplugged, whatever.
Right,
and
that
so
was
Paul
more of a
said,
surprise.
Hide Your Heart, and you hear a few folks go, ooh. And Paul even said, I like that. This one's called Hide Your Heart. And
he did that a few times where he really liked the crowd reaction, so he just repeated whatever it was so he could get it again.
So Hide Your Heart was one that seemed to go really well with the crowd. And then even having the band singing it and the crowd, like the crowd was singing it along with the band just as much as the band was. Yeah. Usually most of these songs, everybody's just kind of like, listening along or whatever. Yeah. But like this one, everybody was singing really loud. And so you could really hear the fans and the band singing together, and it sounded huge.
It was amazing.
It was great. And that was one that was played on the End of the Road tour as well, but just not for very long. I think it was more in the beginning. So it's been a few years since I think that one's seen any live play, or really substantial live play. So hearing it here was fantastic, especially towards the end of the set where you're kind of wondering, like, okay, where are we going with this? And yeah, you get Hide Your Heart. So Hide Your Heart, Hard Luck Woman are my two. One of my absolute favorites they played was Love Her All I Can.
Yes, that was going to be my third too.
And it was the last
and they almost didn't
song
do it.
of the night. Yeah.
Yeah, they almost didn't do it because it almost seemed like it wasn't quite planned.
They said it might be planned tomorrow night, which for us is tonight. For you guys, last night.
Right. So that'll be interesting to see the electric one in comparison. But Tommy, it seemed like he didn't want to do it. He and Paul were kind of having a little conference.
I loved that.
And it sounds like Tommy was worried about how the solo would sound on an acoustic guitar.
Right.
Without having practiced it. And you could hear Eric, he just kept interrupting. He was like, come on, just do it. You can do it.
Come on, you can do it. You can do it.
And Paul was like, will you guys forgive Tommy if, the solo isn't perfect on an acoustic guitar? We're like, of course.
He said, this might suck, but we'll make it up to you tomorrow night. Right. How about that?
Yeah.
And of course they proceed to tear into it. They tear right into it, and Tommy's just on that acoustic.
Amazing. He ended up doing the solo again once they finished the song.
That was the best part. He's like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. And then, they're all like, come on, Tommy, do it. And so they tear into it, and he kills it. And then they get to the end, and, first of all, he gets a high five from Paul. That was great. And then, Tommy, somebody goes, show him, Tommy. And so Tommy started to do it again without anybody, playing. And then Eric jumped in, and then they basically played it again.
Yeah.
That whole solo section again. And that was like, it was just so much fun, you know. You could tell they were...
organic moment.
It was very laid back, very organic. And seeing Tommy and Paul talking on stage about the solo and the acoustic, I don't know if it's going to come across that well, but I just... Same as tomorrow night, Paul's like, no, we should do it tonight. Let's do it. Let's go ahead. And, that was a very fun moment hearing them talk with no microphones. Paul's like, we're having a conference up here.
Yeah.
It seemed like everybody got their spotlight. That was Tommy's.
Yeah.
Tommy at the end said, I did it for you guys, just so you know. I did it only for you guys. And, Paul, of course, had his moment with Hide Your Heart. Gene nailed the vocals on Plaster Caster and Going Blind. And Eric had his moment on both Going Blind and Beth. Going Blind, Paul said, Eric, you're feisty today.
Yes.
You're feisty behind the case he was letting her eat, on some of those fills.
Drums were insane on Going Blind. Insane.
We mentioned the drums on Going Blind on Kiss Rock's Vegas acoustic and how they were just out of this world.
You even predicted before it started in the video.
I said, he's
going to go nuts.
I said, Eric's going to rip it up. And then at the end, Paul's like, Eric, you're feisty today. And then, of course, come Beth, at the end, Paul's like, Eric, you need a spotlight. There's no lights back here. We need a spotlight. And then some roadie off stage hands Paul a flashlight, and Paul walks up and holds it over Eric.
It was great.
And Eric and Gene started singing, I forget what song it was. They started doing a little
They sang
fun.
A couple different songs. They sang Come and Get Your Love. I forget who sings that.
Yeah.
And then Eric was singing some... Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, but it was just fun because, again, they were having fun doing these little fun things. And so... Yeah, I mean, it's my favorite band, and seeing them together again in just laid-back format,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I also loved the couple of moments where they called out Evan and Nick. Because, first of all, Nick was not there at the beginning. I think he was still on his way.
Yes.
Because they pointed out Evan and made him stand up, and he was, literally right there at the front. And then Nick showed up later, and Gene's like, all right, now I got to call Nick out. And he kept trying to tell him to stand up. And Nick refused.
And Nick's like, no, Dad, no.
He's like, stand up.
He's like, I'm going to embarrass you until you stand up.
And Paul was like, listen to your father.
Yeah, Paul, listen to your father for crying out loud.
And finally you could see Evan, kind of force Nick to stand up with him and then sat right back down.
Yes.
But they were also talking, Paul started talking a little bit about, he's like, this is not a paid advertisement or whatever, but...
Not a sponsor.
Yeah, but wait till you hear their music. He's like, we'll be opening up for them.
Yes.
I'm like, please.
Yeah, and there was a, and I don't know if it was Paul just being Paul or if Paul was, A, being humble, or B, just praising, him and Gene's kids, but he was like, we're going to open for them one day, but then he said something, he was like, now come up here and play. No, I'm just kidding, not this time.
Not this time.
And it was like, wait a minute, it almost seemed kind of flippant or whatever, but I was like, wait, are they planning on at some point, not Kiss featuring them, but how cool would it be in the future if we did see something like that, where just in a very casual way have Gene and Nick and Evan and Paul or some
See, that would be amazing. I almost took it more as they might play a set on a future Kiss cruise. You know what I mean? Not at this event.
Yes.
But maybe next year on the actual cruise, they'll actually, Stanley Simmons will play. Because they'll have an album out at that point.
That, I think, is more likely. Because, I mean, the Dives, back when Evan was in the Dives, they were on the Kiss cruise. They performed.
Yeah, and obviously Amber Wild opened up for the End of the Road tour for a while. Yeah. I don't even know if they're still... If Evan's still planning on continuing that or not, but right now, as great as they are, I'm not worried about it because I'm so excited for Stanley
Amber
Simmons.
Wild, had some momentum there. Obviously,
For a minute,
they were on tour with Kiss. They had a couple singles out. Like, I mean, Breakout is still
Silver is still my favorite.
yeah.
I love that
You
song.
love Silver. Breakout for me was just a ferocious song, and so I don't know. I mean, this Nick and Evan, the Stanley Simmons collaboration just seemed to come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
where
it
they
did
got
for
together.
them too.
They got together one day and they just start singing, and it's like, ooh,
yeah.
we sound great. We got good melody.
It really seems like just a lightning in a bottle kind of situation where they weren't really trying. They were just being, friends who play music together, and then all of a sudden something clicked and they just couldn't stop.
And I think, because we live in an age of social media, like, this bothers people because we get so attached to, I mean, folks really dug the Dives too. Like, I bought their EP when they put it out, and, people bought their t-shirts. It was wearing them on the Kiss Cruise, and all of a sudden the Dives isn't around anymore. Now Paul's with Amber Wild, or Evan's doing Amber Wild, and he's with Kiss, and now Evan's with Nick doing this thing, and everyone's like, well, you gotta, pick one, or, it's like...
Sometimes things don't work out. Or you can also be part of multiple projects. It's not a huge deal.
Yes, but also when you start looking at, famous artists and musicians, just like even Kiss, before Kiss it was Wicked Lester.
Right.
And before Wicked Lester, Gene was in, Bullfrog Beer.
I was going to say, sometimes it takes years of trying different
Peter
things
was
and figuring
in
it out.
And, yes, and like Bruce was in Union. Like, there's all these different projects, every singer project. He can be in Alice Cooper, Kiss,
well, and
perform with Badlands,
most
and do
people's
this.
Like big break band or project or duo or whatever is not their first. Like,
no,
that's why I feel like people don't understand.
Like,
it's just the one that worked and the one that like actually resonated with people and took off.
Like, I'm pretty sure, I could be getting this wrong, but I'm pretty sure Guns N' Roses is literally Axl Rose, but also the LA Guns.
Oh.
And they said, well, it's Guns N' Roses. You got people from the LA Guns, and you got Axl Rose. Let's put the two together, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
And that becomes Guns, but nobody thinks about what Guns N' Roses actually means.
Right.
It's just the name, So I feel like, like you said, a lot of those big breaks are not their first. It's just the one that
stuck.
The one that broke out.
Exactly.
If it didn't go big, then you might fizzle out. You might get with a different guy or a different girl, form a different band, do something else. Yeah. So obviously we live in an age of social media where we're seeing all of those projects as they are happening, whereas with Kiss it was like you had to go back and dig and figure out all the different groups that they were with. And you didn't know that history until Kiss was already a thing. Exactly. Right. Yeah. So once you figure out Kiss is a thing and they become famous, all of a sudden their lives, their history, and their past starts to come out, and you piece it together. Oh, they were in this band doing that thing and this, and it's like, well, yeah. Ask any local person. That's just how it all starts. So
it takes time to figure it out.
I do wish both of them the most of success, Evan and Nick, with this project. There's always going to be haters and detractors.
Of course.
People who don't like the style of music or their image. People who want to see them take over the roles of the Demon and Star Child and carry Kiss, like all those stuff. It's always going to be there. But I'm hoping that they're able to just kind of, as it were, tunnel vision, put their blinders on, and keep moving forward and do what they're doing best.
Me too, and I also really hope that this project is really successful for them, like, beyond Kiss fans. Like, obviously, I think we should all be supporting them if you're into that kind of music. If not, it's totally fine.
Seems to be like
don't
60s,
expect
70s
it to be,
folk music a little bit.
Don't expect it to be Amber Wild or Kiss. It's not.
Right.
But if you are into it, definitely support it. But I also hope that they're able to find their own audience as well. Yeah. Because sometimes I feel bad when I look at their comments or I'm watching one of their live streams and all of the comments,
it's just people
are well-meaning
what
Kiss
Kiss
fans,
song are you gonna play? It's like, no.
Yes, and they're just talking about their dads and about Kiss and about covering Kiss songs. No matter how many times they've said, we're not gonna do that. We love our dads and we're proud of them, but like, this is our own thing.
Yes,
we're not gonna do that.
And it's cool to obviously have that built-in audience of Kiss fans.
Right.
And,
that's why I think we should support, but just think about what you comment.
And if you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine, too.
Yep,
but, exactly. I really hope that there are people, kind of like, Greta Van Fleet. When they first came out, they sort of appealed to that older school, rock generation.
Yeah.
And then the folks that liked it. The ones that, of course, had something to say, said something. But then, you fast forward, that was 10 years ago. Fast forward 10 years ago, like, Greta Van Fleet was playing the same place that they were advertising Kiss at the Greta Van Fleet show.
Yeah.
At Gainesville.
Yeah, they're that big now.
They're that big.
Yeah.
And you look at the audience, and it's all young people.
Yep.
and it's all people that probably just organically discovered them on YouTube or on Spotify or from a friend or from some performance that they watched or whatever. But yeah, I'm hoping that same thing happens for them, where it's like, so they have this audience where you will see some folks in Kiss shirts and some folks who,
which is fine,
absolutely, and then hopefully you see those folks that are like, I heard this song on a playlist or somebody showed me at a party
TikTok
or whatever, and it just became an earworm. I was obsessed. Bought the album, whatever. Anyway, this is about Kiss, not about fans.
We've really gone off on a tangent here.
That was a crazy tangent. I apologize.
I just meant to mention Evan and Nick. I got out of hand.
I got way out of hand. But hey, that's fine. That's what we do.
We're
just we're on a podcast. We're just sitting back here having fun, talking, chatting.
Back to this actual concert.
Landlocked.
Last night. Another funny thing I forgot to mention is how often Gene at first, and then also Paul started joining in, kept mentioning to the audience that both Eric and Tommy are single and live in Vegas.
Gene, his foot belongs in his mouth.
It does.
Gene just says things. Paul had said something, and then out of nowhere, Gene's like, "Yeah, by the way, Eric and Tommy, these single young men, they both they live in town. So ladies, if you want, hit them up." And Paul's like, I guess something's never changed. Let's go. And then, at some point, Paul was like, he was like making fun of Gene. 3 songs later, it's like, by the way, guys, Eric and Tommy are single. And Paul won't let Gene live any of that down. But seeing that dynamic, that brotherly love, it's so funny. Yeah, it really hasn't changed. Now, I'll be honest, we're not familiar, because we're not there, so we're not familiar with too much else of the event. I do think that Bob Ezrin did his panel. I know Bill Starkey and Jay Evans did their Q&A or whatever it was, and then a couple of other performances took place. I believe tonight is, Kiss's acoustic set. You mean electric? Electric set, yes, electric set, and then I'm sure there's plenty of... Probably right now things are happening, but we just wanted to real quickly, while it's fresh in our minds, talk about what we've seen so far, and while it's still happening, talk about Vegas. So let us know what you guys thought about the opening night one of the Vegas set list. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. We're gonna backtrack a little bit now because that's obviously happening right now. Right. We're gonna go back to the 9th now. Of November, where Gene and his solo band performed at the Love Ride, which is an event that was powered by Harley Davidson. I guess it was like a charity ride that was out in California, and I totally spaced that. Like, that wasn't even on my radar that Gene was performing at this event. I don't know if I just missed it on the Kiss calendar or what it was. Yeah, I didn't know either. Because I knew that he was, we saw him earlier this year. He had a few dates set. But I don't recall the November 9th Love Ride. Maybe I just missed it. But either way, he was there. Was that the same thing that we saw, that Tommy and Eric were at as well? Okay. Yes. And that was the thing, too, is that before Vegas, 3/4 of Kiss got together and reunited. So you had Eric and Tommy come out, and Gene with them and the band performed, I think, Shout It Out Loud, Dr. Love, and maybe one more song, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, not really sure. But that was really cool, because I know, again, we're backtracking, so Vegas has already happened, but seeing 3/4 of Kiss was a really good appetizer. Oh, absolutely. A really good warm-up. And, Eric was playing a Ludwig kit. That was wild, because everybody knows Eric plays exclusively Pearl kits. But this was obviously, Gene's drummer's kit, and Eric being the professionals, like, I can play. He can make anything work. I can play on any kit at any time of any size. Remember that, like, teeny tiny little one that he played on those little... And those acoustic shows. Yeah, those acoustic shows. They were, like, itty-bitty. And somehow he still tore it up. Oh, Kiss Rocks Vegas. Going blind. Tore it up. Yes, exactly. He doesn't need double kick. He doesn't need... He needs 3 drums and a couple sticks, and he can let her eat all night long. So, but hearing Eric play is always great. And then I think Gene even fessed up and said, Eric Singer, the best voice in Kiss. Oh. And Tommy Thayer, lead guitarist in Kiss. And so, that was just music to my ears. But the special thing came after that when Gene started talking about Ace. Mm-hmm. He started talking about Ace, and then went and started talking about the Kennedy Center Awards, which are next month. And so I thought, well, that was really cool. So I don't know if I'm spoiling it for everybody, but if you want to, you can skip past this. But if you want if you want to know a little bit more about what's happening, December 7th, Gene let us in a little bit, at least as far as what he knows. So he was quoted saying, December 6th, I'm sorry, it's the 6th. December 6th, when the president and everybody's going to get up there and honor Kiss and entering the Kennedy Center honors, the first person who's going to walk out there and talk about how Kiss changed his life is Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
So we all know that Garth Brooks was on Kiss My Ass, playing Hard Luck Woman. Mm-hmm. He and Kiss also performed Hard Luck Woman live on TV together, and Garth Brooks is a well-known Kiss fan, has gone on record many times saying about how Kiss has influenced his life, his music, his show.
That's so cool.
You look at Garth Brooks' show, and you're seeing a Kiss show in country form. Yeah. And so that just goes to show that even country can be, Kissified. And so Garth Brooks brought that to the country. Of course, he's an American artist, and so it makes sense for an American artist to give tribute to an American artist. Yes, you heard me right, giving tribute, because he's going to be also performing, I think, Shout It Out Loud.
That's awesome.
Is what Gene said. I'm not sure if that's going to be the song or not, but Garth Brooks allegedly is going to be performing, giving tribute to Kiss, performing Kiss music. And Gene went on and said, Garth Brooks is going to host a little bit, and then he's going to play Shout It Out Loud and knock it out of the park. And in Ace's memory, we're going to make sure that one of the 4 chairs is empty with Ace's name, because he deserves to be there in spirit, even if he can't be there physically. So it still blows my mind that we're not going to see the original 4 together. It's crazy, because that was the moment where they all should have been, even if not Vegas. Vegas can be its own thing.
Yeah.
I think we already even knew before Ace's passing, Peter and Ace were not going to be involved. Yeah, they had been asked. We're
expecting that.
Just like in the road tour, they were like, we're good. We're going to stay separate. But, obviously an event like the Kennedy Center Honors is an event where it's more than just the music.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is about the legacy, and this is about, the influence and impact. I could start listing all those things that Tom Morello mentioned in his speech back at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but anyway, so yeah, it was nice to hear. Obviously, we heard Paul give tribute to Ace at Vegas. Gene was giving tribute to Ace at this event, saying that there was going to be a chair left open specifically for Ace. So yes, as weird as it's going to be, I'm glad that there's going to be obviously some honoring of Ace, and we always knew there was going to be. It wasn't like they were going to forget that, but just to hear Gene say that and reaffirm and reassure that. So. Yeah, obviously that's going to be an event that lots of fans are going to be, eyes glued to the screen. We're all going to be focusing on that. That's not for another half a month, it seems. But I thought it was cool that Gene was giving us a little bit of a teaser there.
Yeah,
as far
that's
as
very exciting.
What we can expect. So, yeah, again, guys, between Vegas and the Kennedy Center Awards, we have lots of things to be excited about. Lots of things happening. Of course, we have the Dress to Kill box set that just came out. The Alive box set's coming next. It's just never-ending fun here in Kiss World. And so I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, Xander, so you've done a Cadillac collection video. You've done the Dress to Kill unboxing, another Cadillac collection video. So you're probably going to skip the Collector's Corner today, aren't you? I would advise you to think again. Because, no, we're definitely going to be doing another Collector's Corner right here, right now. I have just enough for this episode.
Is that right?
Just enough for this episode. Enough. Just enough for this episode.
How many things you got?
4.
Just enough. Barely.
I have just enough. Barely. Yeah. Just barely met the quota for what could be a Collector's Corner. So let's go ahead and get right down to it. I want to open up this item first because I think that this is the one that's going to be one of the most relevant here today.
Okay.
Definitely the most random, but also the most relevant. And that sounds oxymoronic, and it kind of is, but I'm going to... oh. Very cool. So that's a little extra. What's that?
Kiss Cruisers Reunion sticker.
Kiss Cruisers Reunion sticker 2025. So this is, let me go ahead and get it open here before I say what it actually is. So this is a Kiss Cruisers coin.
Whoa.
Check this out. So you're probably wondering, why did Xander get a Kiss Cruiser sticker? And that's because I designed this.
So I wasn't going to say it, but I was like, didn't you make this?
I designed this. So I bought this off of eBay.
This is really freaking cool then.
So I bought this. So it says, Kiss Cruisers Reunion, organized by Andy Moyen. So Andy Moyen, huge diehard Kiss fan. one of the former hosts of the Kiss Army Nation podcast. He's been on, I think, the Kiss FAQ podcast, maybe a few other podcasts. He's very well known, very well loved in the Kiss community.
Yeah.
Has gone on a lot of the Kiss cruises, and he is the organizer of the Kiss Cruisers reunion. So at this point, it's been several years.
That coin is so sick.
Yeah, so here's the coin. And I'll do some probably more B-roll footage because I know that this is in a case and might be some glare. It's kind of tiny, but anyway, so it's been several years at this point. But Andy reached out to me and said, hey, I am organizing a reunion party for as many Kiss Cruisers that want to get together.
Yeah.
And I need a logo. I need a graphic. And so he kind of told me what he wanted. I think he told me what he wanted. If not, I just kind of made it from scratch. But
you're like, if not, I did a great job.
Either way, I knocked it out of the park.
You did. It's very good.
But Andy was happy with it because he liked it, and it's a very unconventional logo, but it's really cool. I
think it's perfect.
And I think due to COVID or something happened to where the event couldn't take place.
Oh, okay.
So this graphic that he paid for, that I made, just went unused.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So it seems like here in 2025, it says Kiss Cruisers 2025. It looks like they were able to get together. And he was able to use this, logo. That's
amazing.
And then somebody, respectfully from the event decided to put their coin up on eBay for sale along with a sticker. And when I saw it, I was like, that's my graphic.
That's amazing.
So I decided to put a bid in, and I won the auction for the coin.
Great.
And it looks like the logo has been altered a little bit for the sake of this.
For the coin,
which,
the coin design.
which makes sense. But now the backside I did not design. The Kiss Cruisers reunion, I'm not sure who did that. They did a great job. But that's
cool.
really cool. Now the sticker is a bonus. I knew the coin was coming, but the Kiss Cruisers sticker is really cool. So
shout out to that person on eBay.
So shout out to the person on eBay. Shout out to Andy. Andy, I hope the event went really well. Kiss Cruisers, I hope you enjoyed the reunion, and if you got your coin, cherish it because wow, this thing is super cool. I kind of want to get it out of the case, but might have to just wait to do it later. But that's a really cool item, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna kind of.
That's a fun one.
I'm gonna get that just because it was a random item, and I was like, I have an attachment to that. So.
And you're right, it is somewhat relevant right now.
Somewhat relevant because it is the Kiss Cruise Landlocked Vegas episode. So yes, I'm glad that the reunion happened because I know that when it comes to things like that, like fans love to get together. I have a small announcement here soon. Stay tuned. Let's get to some more Kiss merch first. I'll be interested to see what your reaction to this is. Let me get...
Yeah, I feel like I don't know about any of these things.
No, I think these ones I snuck up on you. This one, again, I can't wait to see what your reaction is on this one. Where did this...
it looks like it came from out of the
country.
country.
Where did this come from? Yeah, I was going to say, I think this one was in Australia.
Ooh.
Yeah, this comes from Australia. So, shout out to Kiss Army Australia. This was another eBay purchase. Ta-da.
Oh my god.
What's that?
It's another wallet.
Another chain wallet.
Another friggin' wallet.
This one's different though. This one I don't have.
That's true. I have never seen this one, actually.
So I do have a Destroyer chain wallet, but I don't have this Destroyer chain wallet. So, as a matter of fact, I have two Destroyer chain wallets that
neither of them are this
that
one.
are the same. This one, however, is different. So it's in a bag. I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the bag so I can show everybody what we got here. A card from Lily's Treasures. Okay, thank you, Lily. But yes, this is an officially licensed Kiss.
That's pretty cool.
Destroyer chain wallet there with the Destroyer artwork. I'm going to get a year on this. Looks like the year is 2012. This came out in 2012. So there's a better look at it there. You got the four faces from Destroyer there. There's the inside, although it's not really anything special, but there is the official tag there. So yeah, brand new wallet. This will be one that eventually I'll use. But yeah, just slowly hoarding all there is when it comes to Kiss wallets. So
yep, wallets and pajama pants always.
If you see a Kiss wallet or pajama pants, you better get it because they're going here. They're coming here.
They're going
to
you specifically.
Yes. So just again, one more wallet. I have a whole section of wallets over here at this point. Let's get into this one. This one will be a fun one for everybody. I wanted to see your reaction on the last one. Well, let's see everybody's reaction when I open this one. This one I've actually had sitting back for a while.
Really?
This one I should have opened about a month ago, but didn't because we've just been so busy with everything. But check out this Kiss Alive 2 tour book that came from Japan. Wow. Now, I don't think the tour book itself is a Japanese tour book.
Oh, it's not? It just came from Japan.
It just was shipped from Japan.
Fun.
And it's in really
nice
condition.
Package, yeah.
So I do want to go ahead and get this open. Yeah, no, that does look kind of cool there with the Japanese in the front. But no, this is, I think it's
just the plastic wrap.
I think that's just the person. It did come from Japan.
Yeah.
But that's just the packaging the person used. But so I think this is a Love Gun, or is it Alive 2? This is Alive 2. So at the bottom of the last page, you can see where it says Alive 2.
Yep.
If it were a Love Gun, it would just say Love Gun. I believe there's also a double platinum version. I could be mistaken. But either way, guys, look at that. Vintage.
That's awesome. That is in good condition.
Alive 2 tour book. Yeah, so a lot of tour books that are this size and bigger, especially Hot in the Shade, Revenge, and Crazy Nights. It's the spine.
Right.
And even this one right here on the top
so,
and the
still
back
be careful with it.
Has issues with the spine. But what I'm looking at is the front cover right there, which is just clean as can be.
Yeah.
No major folds. We have a small one up here, but I mean, I can't complain.
Yeah, it looks
This
great.
one, I'll be honest, is in better condition than the one that's on sale for Kiss Museum. Oh. But what that means is that one's a little bit cheaper than what you might get this one for. So if you're also needing, if you have your Love Gun, but you don't have your Alive 2 tour book, well, you can get one on Kiss Museum. But you can't get this one. This one, yours. This one is mine 100%. It's going to go right back here with all of my other tour books. I don't really collect tour books all that much, but all things considered, I got that one for a really good deal, even with the import fees.
I was going to say, you'd think it'd be so much more from Japan. Even with the import fees,
yeah, that one I got for a pretty good deal. So, yeah, I know I'm always showing some new stuff and things like that, but there's your vintage kick right there. Yeah, there you go. I'm thirsty, so hang on one second. My mouth gets so dry doing these episodes. I think I still have one more to go. This one, I think, is our biggest, or at least it's comparable to the tour book.
I will cut that here.
Cut that part right there? Alrighty. So this, I got kind of for free. It was one of those, I don't really know. I got a free offer. Basically, you pay shipping and you get a free canvas print.
Okay.
It was an offer, an online offer, that when I got it, I was like, this has got to be a scam, right? No, it's not. So I'll talk more about it once I get it out of its cage here. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
Check this out.
Is that your photo?
Yes.
Wow.
This is a canvas print of a photo I took on my cell phone.
That's so awesome.
The final bow in Fort Wayne, Indiana, February 16th, 2020. This was the last show Kiss played in Fort Wayne at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum. They've played there many times throughout the years. We were 6th row.
Yep.
This was the last, that was the closest we'd ever seen Kiss. And so, yeah, I got a free offer for a canvas print. And I took my photo, put the Kiss logo over it.
That's great. I love that.
And there it is.
That's so fun. Where are you going to put that?
I don't know.
You have no idea.
I don't know yet. I was thinking about it and I was like,
That's
you know what? It will find its home.
Exactly.
I would put it back here, but I think these are 12 by
They're
18
bigger,
or 11 by 17. This is 11 by 14. So this may not even go in here. Maybe,
I was about to say I might need to go in the Kiss Museum if you have room.
It may go in my office. I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know. But I just, again, I was like, free. I looked into it. I was like, oh, this is legit. Okay, great. And it's a very high quality. Can I give a shout out to the company here? Where did this come from? Easy Canvas Prints.
Easy Canvas Prints.
Easy Canvas Prints. I think this cost like $15.
That was the shipping?
That was the shipping.
Not bad.
Or with tax, with everything.
Yeah.
It was like 15.
Very cool.
I bet the canvas by itself would have probably been 15.
Yeah,
so it probably would have been 30 on average. So I'm not saying you're going to get a free deal, but I somehow did, and I looked into it, and I was like, all right, cool. If I can get a free Kiss canvas print, then let's go for it. So
I love it.
I'll find a spot for it. I'll find its home. But you guys know how much I love Kiss Army Indiana. And so this is my final offering for today's Collector's Corner. Now I want to, as usual, get to the Kiss calendar.
Yes.
Which is where we've been kind of just keeping track of all the major events happening this year. We're not doing anything like, it's the Love Gun anniversary.
Every anniversary. Yeah.
Every single anniversary. No, just
too many.
Just major anniversaries. We did Dress to Kill. We did Kiss Alive. Of course, Kiss Landlocked Vegas is happening right now. So that's happening now. Somebody in the comments, a couple folks reminded me that I forgot something on the last episode to put in the Kiss calendar, and that was Peter Criss's solo album.
Yep, I can't believe we forgot.
We talked about it.
Yeah,
and
I didn't put it on the calendar.
And I meant to put it on. It's just that I got distracted, and I knew I was going to forget something, but it turns out that it wasn't an item to show. It was something on the Kiss calendar. So. Yeah. I'm forgetful. I apologize. But yes, obviously, December 19th is the release date for Peter Criss's new solo album.
Nice.
So let's go ahead and mark that down. And then flipping back to November really quick, we have the Kiss Cadillac auction that we mentioned last time.
It's true. It's still going on.
So the Kiss Cadillac auction is going on all the way until this Friday the 21st. So if you go to kisscadillac.com, you can see all the items they have up for bid, which is basically a Kiss Army 50th anniversary bundle. You have 40th anniversary bundles. You have Kiss 50 street banners. You have all the other street banners. Might even be a few more things. I'm not really sure. So definitely some really, really cool Kiss Cadillac memorabilia. I put in my bid. So I'm just kidding. Go ahead. All the money is going to the city and their festivities and their events. So it's going to go directly into the community. So it's going to a good cause, not going to somebody's pocket. It's going to the community's pocket. So definitely check out kisscadillac.com and check out the auction. It ends the 21st at, I think, noon, or something like that. But more information on their website. Speaking of the 21st of November, that's also when it looks like the Alive box set ships.
Okay, wow.
So
soon.
We will be, looks like doing a review late November, early December for the Kiss Alive box set. Also happening on the 21st of November is the 50th anniversary since the formation of the Kiss Army.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
So the 21st of November 1975 is considered to be the birth date of the Kiss Army because that's when Kiss came to Terre Haute, Indiana. They performed at the Holman Civic Center. I think they also made an appearance at the radio station. Bill Starkey was brought out on stage and given a plaque as honorary member of Kiss. And so that date is considered to be the formation of the Kiss Army. That was when Kiss came to Terre Haute. The connection was made and solidified. And then, as we all know, it became an official fan club. And did it just stay in Terre Haute? No, the Kiss Army is worldwide. That's right. Worldwide, 50 years later. But yes, it did start in here in Indiana. And that's where I want to get to my next announcement. So I've been telling everybody that I've been wanting to have a event here in Indiana for the 50th anniversary. And I've been telling you guys it's going to happen. It's going to happen in some way, shape, or form. So this is not the official announcement. That's coming very soon. But this is just for the folks who watch our episode all the way to the end, the diehards of not just Kiss, but Kiss Army things. So first of all, thank you guys so much for being here and for watching. But basically what we're going to be doing is Saturday, December 13th is going to be the Kiss Army Homecoming 50th anniversary fan event. We're going to have a basically mini Kiss Expo here in Columbus, Indiana at the 4-H Fairgrounds. We're going to be bringing as many fans that want to all over the United States, all over the Midwest to this event. We're going to get together. We're going to hang out. There's going to be lots of Kiss merchandise for you guys to check out, but also we're going to be having a few other special things happening. I don't want to say anything just yet, but expect an official announcement coming very soon. We want to celebrate the Kiss Army. 50 years. It started in Terre Haute, Indiana. It started in Indiana in 75. It's going to continue in Indiana here in 2025. And so if you guys can make it, tickets are only going to be like $20, $25. It'll be the cheapest Kiss Expo you ever go to. There's no merch add-ons. There's no VIP bundles. All right, show up and just have fun. Be a Kiss fan. It's going to be all day. Again, I'm going to have more information for you guys coming later, but I wanted you guys, the Kiss Army Things crowd, to be the first to hear it. Saturday, December 13th, Columbus, Indiana. It's basically an hour from Cincinnati. It's an
hour from
hour from Indy. It's an hour from Louisville. 4 hours from Chicago. Just about 3 or 4 hours from Michigan, depending on where you're at in Michigan. Could be upwards of 5 or 6. But I mean, we drove to Cadillac.
No problem.
We drove.
It was a beautiful drive. Actually,
I drove to Rosemont.
That's true.
We've been to Dayton.
Yeah.
We've been to Indianapolis for the Kiss Expos. Yeah. So if you're willing to make the drive, it's only for a couple hours. We would love to see you guys come out. There's going to be a few more announcements coming soon, but yeah, there's not going to be any Eric Singer. I mean, I don't think so, unless he just shows up as a person. But no, we're not doing VIP meet and greet autographs and all those, again, those ticket packages and all that. It's just about Kiss fans getting together in the same room, being together, hanging out, and just relishing in 50 years of pride and glory. So if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned to Kiss Army Things. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. We're going to have more information rolling out, but I wanted you guys to be the first to hear it. So should I go ahead and officially put it on the calendar?
You should.
Because it's basically all but official. So let's go ahead and put the 13th of December as the Kiss Army Homecoming 50th Anniversary Fan Event.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited, guys. I've been working really, really hard in 2025 between the podcast and the YouTube and Kiss Museum and now this event. I love being a Kiss fan, and I love making Kiss fans happy and giving them a reason to celebrate. And so I'm very much looking forward to this event and to announcing it and what else we have in store for you guys. So yes, more on that later. But talk about a crazy Kiss calendar. We got Peter Chris' solo album. We have the Kiss Army anniversary, the live box set shipping. We're going to be celebrating the Kiss Army here in Indiana. So for those who didn't get to go to Cadillac or go to Vegas, be here in Indiana December 13th.
Here's your other chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a very busy, very packed couple of months here at the end of the year.
It's been a very, very busy. Yeah, absolutely. And so maybe in the beginning of the year we'll have a little bit of rest, maybe not. I don't know. But all I know is that right here, right now, I'm having an amazing time. And so I'm glad that you guys are here after 156 episodes. And thank you guys so much for watching. And so I'll be sure to get with you guys with more details soon. I think that's going to wrap it up for this. Has been a really good show.
It's been great. This has been so much to talk about.
We reviewed a Kiss concert.
In 2025.
We watched Kiss perform.
Insane.
And then we talked about it.
That's crazy.
That's all I ever wanted to do with this podcast.
Right?
Was just talk about Kiss and how awesome they are. So, hey, I think we've done that. So, success. Thank you guys so much for being here. Shout out to our Patreon subscribers. We have, I think, about 13 people now on our Patreon who are paid subscribers. And so your support has meant everything to us this whole entire year. And so I'm excited to see what happens in 2026. We're right here, right now, 2025. Thank you to each and every person who has supported us. I have something special coming up for you guys very, very soon. But in either case, this has been episode 156 of the Kiss Army Things podcast. We'll see you guys in the next episode where there'll be an official announcement for our Kiss Expo here, or Kiss event, fan event here in Indiana. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great day. Have a blessed week. And we'll see you next time on Kiss Army Things. My name is Xander.
My name is Daphne.
Peace out. Rock on.